Neirea versus NoHandsGamer is going to be our last bit of coverage, I believe, here for round number 10. Neirea, formerly a member of G2, 2 World Championship appearances under his belt. And again, one of those players that I really respect. Neirea very much has preached the quality of practice and having a clear mind and being relaxed over quantity of practice, and oftentimes in his tournament performances has pretty much exercised that exact same thing, where he will take a step back from competition if he does not feel like he's in top form. But now he's here at the Masters Tour to strut his stuff, and playing against NoHandsGamer in this one, winner of the last tour stop that took place in Philadelphia.
Yeah, I think this is a style of play that we are seeing perfectly exampled by Fino in Grandmasters, who's been taking, I mean, he's still playing a lot of Hearthstone because he's in Grandmasters, but he's focusing on himself, his well-being, his mental well-being as well. And he's playing much, much better because of that perfect 8-0 record in Grandmasters. For NoHandsGamer here, like you said, this is a pretty cool version of the Hunter that we're seeing. A little bit different to pretty much everyone else that we've seen. Viper was also going for a kind of Death Rattle mech Hunter, but this has got a bit of secret synergy thrown in there as well. I have not seen this exact list before.
There's a lot going on in that one.
There was a lot going on.
That is actually a Death Rattle Secret Hunter with some beast stuff thrown in. Like,
let the hunt begin.
7-2 record as well.
Very respectable indeed.
NoHandsGamer had one of the coolest stories I'd seen in a long time. At the tour stop in Philadelphia, we asked him, why did you tag NoHandsGamer? He goes, well, I don't use my hands. I go, what do you mean? And he played in the top 8, and he uses eye tracking to click in the situations, because he talked about how using his hands for a lengthy period of time will just result in pain for him.
Yeah.
And so being able to play the game in a turn-based strategy game, a big benefit to him. And that he talked about what an impact it made, and I just thought that was the coolest thing.
I agree. It's the kind of thing you think is the content of a Doug video, but actually turns out to be one of the most inspiring stories in Hearthstone.
Yeah.
And he is off to a pretty respectable start here, very much going in on the secret half of the deck as opposed to the mech half of the deck here at the start.
There's just a lot of like really solid cards in here, and like the synergies I don't think are like explosive and spectacular, but honestly they're quite a nuisance overall. And I can see how this could be giving rogues and some mages a lot of trouble with the way that secrets interact with combat.
I can see that. Like, it's a really weird relationship that these kinds of decks have had with Hearthstone, where generally decks that focus on 2 different kinds of combo or tribal synergies or whatever are not that strong. You generally want to focus in on one thing and do it really, really well. I'm talking about, for example, Togwaggle Druid versus Malagos Druid. There was a version that was kind of a hybrid of the both, and then it was generally decided on that one or the other was stronger, because you want to focus in on doing one thing very well. And I think that's why generally you see either Secret Hunter or Mech Hunter, but clearly NoHandsGamer here with a somewhat unconventional strategy is having a lot of success at 7-2.
Featuring Necromechanic at 4 mana instead of 5 mana.
Yes.
Part of the Rise of the Next buff that took place. And
that card is nuts.
Historically, 4 mana 3/6 has just been a strong stat line. And so I think that the key to a 4 mana 3/6 is it has to either A, offer you immediate defensive impact, or B, have an effect attached to it that effectively offers you immediate defense due to how powerful the effect is, or just has such a high impact that you will win games as soon as it goes unchecked.
Right, we're of course looking at Thunderhead, Houndmaster Shaw.
Houndmaster Shaw, want to take a look at Blink Fox maybe for a second there?
That was all planned, by the way.
I'm telling you, man, you put a caster on a desk, they say something weird, it just happens.
Derek wins $1 million.
Well, that's not weird.
Wow!
5 mana Necromechanic.
Oh yeah, he is just playing it as the full 5 mana. Did anyone tell him that it's been reduced? Yeah, I mean, clearly in this instance it is just being played as the 3/6 body.
Strongest thing.
Yep.
Missing some death rattles here.
It's pretty sad when you have 2 9 lives in hand. You really want to get that synergy with having a mechanical whelp die first. But again, with none of the, I believe no death rattle is even dying so far.
This is reminiscent of Token Druid situations where your deck is probably more of a victim to its own build than what your opponent's done. Neirea's opened up fantastically in this game. We looked at Backstab, double Vendetta active to buy tempo, and that shredded what NoHandsGamer had going on in this spot. now the draw's been shredded apart, and you're seeing what happens if you fail to draw synergy. I think a single spider bomb can turn this around, but it's got to show up next turn.
Drastically, that changes the entire course of this game. And this is why typically you focus your deck on one thing in Hearthstone, or you can get these kind of hands where it's half secret synergy, half mech synergy, and none of it's coming together.
Inner Fire actually offers value. Thanks to the Houndmaster Shaw that was found thanks to Blink Fox.
That's pretty good. I mean, this whole hand for Neirea, despite being rather low on minions,
yeah, it's my Priest Hunter Rogue deck.
It's pretty good. Of course.
You don't play Priest Hunter Rogue?
I'm so glad that Henge Clan Burglar is a good card. I love that card.
Yeah.
I think it's introduces such interesting aspects to the game.
Well, I fear NoHandsGamer may have received this a little bit late because Neirea has more disruption in hand and is just pressuring so hard.
Oh, you're right. The sap means that the minion doesn't even die. So 9 lives is still not active.
You can't attach the Spider Bomb and attack immediately in that situation. Like, just everything here went wrong. I mean, Neirea, this is the power that Rogue presents, though. If its bets go unchecked and it has strong disruption and follow-up, man, it is just a busted deck.
So what are we looking at here? Sap, backstab, inner fire, life drinker. Like, you can just unload here as Neirea.
That's the thing is, where's the Shadow Step best used? Do you want to maybe even Cyber Tech chip here off a coin so if your stuff dies, you just have more dump pressure to add?
Or does he just have lethal with the Shadow Step and the life drinker? That also works.
That's right, because the 2 mana discount. I just wasn't accounting for that in my head.
Yeah, pretty miserable here for NoHandsGamer. I'm sad that this is a game that we have to see for him, where his deck just really didn't come together in the way I assume it has.
Look, he's got a 7-2 match record. Something's got to be going right.
Exactly. Something has been going well for him. And I think, like you said, generally the secrets will have been doing very well against the mages in particular, because with their singular large minions, it can make it very difficult for them to actually play around the secrets effectively. And I guess also against the warriors of the world as well is really what NoHandsGamer was trying to target the most with a mech death rattle high value hunter kind of synergy he's got rolling. But hopefully, if he can go perfectly throughout, he'll have a chance to go through the top 8. But I would say it's looking pretty grim for him now, a 7-3 record.
Yeah, moves up to 7-3 record, and Neirea up to 8-2. That's pretty cool. As we are now concluded with round number 10, so we can take a look at the standings and see who's sitting up top. And Hypno, this is actually the first time I think I have caught Hypno actually playing in terms of watching his play, and he is just aggressive. He's like, let's go, play stuff and start hitting you. And it looks like he's in spots where he wants to clear, and he's like, nah, face. And I'm like, yeah, let's go. 9-1 up top alongside Possessi, Gallon, and Neirea, not to be confused with Neirea, where you can see sitting at 8-2 on the right side.
I am a big fan of Hypno. I'm really glad he's getting his moment in the spotlight, because I remember seeing him doing very well at HCT Oslo last year, where he was bringing even Paladin just after the nerfs, when it had drastically dropped in popularity. And exactly like you're saying, he was just playing it as a super aggro deck. Like, he was killing his opponents so quickly every single time, and I think he had very close to a perfect record through that Swiss portion as well.
Just fantastic performance so far. I mean, 9-1 in this field is not easy. And so with round number 10 coming to a close, that means players are getting ready for the 11th round. 2 rounds left of Swiss. And our next feature is going to be Tom taking on Dog. Tom taking on Dog 60229, I was about to say. Dog taking on Tom 60229. Dog with a crazy deck showing up here. One of the most fantastic performers in the history of Hearthstone. And Tom, very much in the same vein, and former world champion. This, to me, is one of the biggest rounds that we're going to have in the Swiss portion of it. So don't miss it. 2 more rounds of Swiss before we cut to our top 8.